All right, so in this problem, we're going to talk about what's called the break-even point. So it's a concept in business, manufacturing, and they'll give us some information, and then we'll go through these three different parts. So it says a company sells sports helmets. Okay, so that's the product we're selling. The company incurs a one-time fixed cost for $250,000. Okay, so they had to pay that up front for supplies, or not supplies, but whatever. That's what they had to pay. Okay, each helmet costs $100 to produce and sells for $148. Okay, so this right here is where our variable is going to come in. It depends on how many helmets, which we're going to call X. I would have called it H, but the book said to use X. Okay, so it's going to depend how many helmets we're making, how much it's going to cost us to make that many helmets. It's going to be $120 per X. Okay, so we did a cost function before in another video. So the cost is going to equal, you know what, I'm going to write it down here. The cost function, it's going to be based on X. It says find the cost function for part A, find the cost function C to produce X helmets in dollars. Okay, so we're finding C of X. Cost is going to be based on how many helmets we're making. And we know that in a cost function we have the fixed costs plus the cost that's based on how many helmets we're making. Now, I think that's how we wrote it in the past. If you wanted to switch it and put 120x plus 250,000, you could do that. All right, so that is the cost function right there. It's got the fixed costs and then the variable costs, which depends on how many helmets we're making. Okay, those words are going to get in my way. There they go. Okay, now we want to do, in part B, the revenue. The revenue is how much money you're going to pull in. It's not how much money you're making, it's just how much, you sold 10 helmets, how much money came into the cash register. Okay, so the revenue function is just based on how many you're selling. So R of X, so the revenue, R for revenue, it says find the revenue function from the sales of X helmets. Okay, so we don't know how many helmets we're selling, but we're getting 140 for each helmet. Okay, so it's 140X. If I sold 10 helmets, then I would have brought in $1,400. Okay, the break-even point. The break-even point is when you're just breaking even. How much it cost you plus how much you brought in are equal to each other. So that's why we say, okay, how many helmets? I've got all these costs, 250,000 plus 120 per helmet. How many do I need to make and sell so that I will break even? Okay, so we set them equal to each other. You could graph this out as well. They might show that in the book, I don't know. Let me write over here, the break-even point is when C of X equals R of X. When your cost equals your revenue, then you're breaking even. If you sell more, then you'll start making money. Okay, so that's the idea here. So we solve this. 250,000 equals 20x. Divide both sides by 20. So what is that going to be? Like 12,500. Wow, that's a lot of helmets to sell. But we weren't charging very much more than the 120 to make the helmet. We were only making $20 off of each helmet. So we need to sell a lot of helmets to make money. We have to sell 12,500 helmets just to break even. So the break-even point is 12,500 helmets. If I make and sell less than that, then I will lose money. If I make and sell more, then I'll start making money. Okay, so this is kind of, the cutoff. We say, all right, we've got to make 12,500 helmets. We've got to sell them all. That means we're breaking even. Personally, I think we should charge more for the helmets, but okay, that's our business they gave us. Okay, so now we know we need to break even. We need to make and sell 12,500 helmets. Now, how much money is that going to be? So I would go to the revenue function right here to figure that out. So I would go 140 times 12,500, and I would find some calculator and figure that out. Got my calculator here. Okay, so it looks like 1,750,000, and that would be dollars. Okay, let me scroll up. So when you say break-even point, we're going to sell 12,500 helmets, and we're going to be pulling in $1,750,000. Now, I say pulling in, but it's also what we're paying for too. So that's why it's a break-even point. Okay, so this is how much money we're spending, but it's also how much money we're bringing in. Okay, the important thing is really how many helmets it is. So I'm going to stop it at that.